Welcome back to SwitchCorner. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be continuing to dig into the huge amount of Indie World sales that dropped just this week. It's going to be quickfire like Thursday's edition, the under $10 one, because again, I have like 23 games to break down for you all, covering the US, Canada, UK, EU, and Australia. As always, then I do have two $10 eShop gift cards to give away and two winners to announce from last week's video. Now, all you need to do to enter this week, as always, just drop a comment down below and I'll announce the winners in next week's video. With that though, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So with so many deals on right now, I'm looking for specifically all-time new low prices, so do presume that is the case with every game, and for the few that are not, I'll give you a heads up. Likewise, any games I have reviewed, I'll be linking those in the comments down below. Kicking us off then, SPIRITFARER Trinity Edition is for those of you who ever looked at Slay the Spire and said, you know what would be awesome? Something like this, but anime styled. Now, while it's not quite the same level as Slay the Spire, I still really liked it, and the idea here is you choose one of 3 warriors, all with varying skills in battle, and you try and make it through different dimensions to the very end. Die and of course try again, but I was hooked on this, and I really do like this 50% off. Inertial Drift now, and honestly I didn't really love this one, above average but not incredible. That said though, a lot out there did, so I wanted to give you a quick shout out with this 25% off. It's a drift racer, and what is basically game changing here is the control format. It relies on a twin stick format, super unique, and it works really well. Sadly though, it's really just all about time trials. Opponents are all ghost cars, and that kind of let the experience down for me personally. At least the visuals though, they are very nice. Here's one I love then, this is FOGS. It's rocking 25% off. Now I'm not sure how high the developers were when they came up with this idea, but it's a game about a two-headed dog where 2 players, or even solo as well, you get to control basically half each, so think almost cat dog. It's a puzzle adventure though. I played online with a friend myself and we had a blast with it. The cutesy visuals as well, they may make things look simple, but it definitely gets challenging at points as well. Good for all ages, but my suggested way to play this one definitely going to be 2-player local or online, even if it does have single player as well. Alright, so John Wick Hex, I reviewed this unique strategy experience and I really enjoyed it. I heard a few people in the comments had some issues with crashes. I did not personally though, so that is all I can really say. The game though, it's great stuff. It's a funny one as well. It's almost a slow burning strategy title. You'd never kind of attach that kind of experience to the John Wick name, yet it absolutely captures the spirit of the series and the character. Looks good as well once you kind of get used to the character vibe it's going for. And this one, a fair few mechanics, so I will say check out my full review. 40% off though, super cheap. Just do not come here for all out action. That was never really the intention. Puzzle fans, one of the best on the Switch has to be Manifold Garden. It plays with the concept of Escher style architecture for a brain teaser not quite like any other game out there. It's a first person experience. It's all about exploration, figuring out kind of that next move. But basically just forget what you know about physics because they rarely apply here. Looks beautiful though and plays great on the Switch. It's well worth this 30% off. Matching its all-time low then with 25% off, Haven from the Game Bakers. They made Fury. You would think their next game would be, also an ultra-challenging epic, but that is not the case. In fact, it's the complete opposite. A relaxed sci-fi adventure. This is all about exploration, a few minor puzzles, and then some minor kind of turn-based RPG combat. What you come to this one for though, it's going to be the story and these 2 kind of on-the-run lovers. Really enjoyed it, but it will not be for everyone. A quick self-plug then, remember to check out the Twitch channel. We stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 7 PM PST, Fridays from 12 PM PST as well. We cover everything Switch, a whole lot of new releases, and also then a decent chunk of PS4 and 5 as well. On that note, also PlayStation Corner, it is back and going. I released a deals video just yesterday, or 2 days ago now in fact, and every week you can expect 10 under 10 deals and any price deals videos as well on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We also just hit 1,000 subscribers over there, so thank you all so much. I'll link you to both though in the pinned comment down below. Sports fans, a quick shout out then for PGA Tour 2K21. It's golf, it's rocking 67% off, and I was actually impressed. It's missing the crowds, which is a little weird, but also kind of in keeping with 2020 honestly, but it's got a decent selection of courses and strong mechanics. The only thing that might put people off, you cannot play as a pro, rather you kind of build your own character and you compete against them to be number one. So back to the more action pack then. This is West of Dead with 35% off, a roguelite that finds you taking on the role of Deadman William Mason and face off against basically Purgatory. A roguelite shooter though, it's basically procedurally generated, the graphics are stunning, and the main character is voiced by Ron Perlman, which basically elevates it entirely. Occasionally the visuals can make it a little bit challenging to kind of figure out the direction you need to go, but otherwise I had a blast, and this will be a good one for fans of games like Hades and Curse of the Dead Gods. On that note, actually, Hades is also back on sale, matching the all-time low price with 20% off. This game has just been a massive hit, so I don't foresee it dropping, honestly, much lower in price than this anytime soon. And I also kind of feel like a good percentage of Switch owners out there have it already. If you don't know, do consider it. It's as good as people make it out to be. And yes, it is hard, but it's also very fair, and the controls, they are up there with some of the best. Okay, so let's quickfire a couple more games matching their all-time low before our first winner of the week. This one is HUNTDOWN with 40% off. It's for all of you that like your old school run and gun kind of gameplay. It's paying homage to the 80s with neon wash levels and a story and world that reminds me of the movie The Warriors, for anyone old enough to remember that one, but it definitely chooses its kind of influences wisely. It's just got great gameplay as well, and it's super fast paced. It's also a decent challenge as well. Then also matching its low price, River City Girls with 30% off. It's about as good as they come. Every time this one goes on sale though, I get the same question, but is it worth it? And I get it, it's not cheap for a beat 'em up, but this is unique as it throws in abilities, power-ups, items, weapons, and most of all, the average runtime with this one is 7 hours, which is a lot of game for the genre. It basically though borrows from the RPGs of the world almost. Then you can play solo or local co-op as well, and I just adore this game. It's one I'm actually trying to get physical, but it's definitely not a cheap one to pick up. Alright, so the first winner of the week then, it's going to Jeremy Cheshire, who loves Kentucky Route Zero, and I have to agree, incredible game, well worth a look, or at least an add to the wish list if you like your more kind of surreal and out there experiences. Congrats though Jeremy, drop me an email to claim your code, and everyone else, a second winner is still coming up later in the video. So my new addition to this series then, when I grab games myself, I'm going to be reporting back on them a week later. Last week I grabbed Unto the End. The visuals just attracted me to it, it looked unique, but sadly I will say now I have to agree and say the bad reviews out there it did receive, they are kind of warranted. I think get it sub $10 and then we're kind of talking, but at the current price I just don't really think it's worth it. The combat, if anything, is really unfair. You die constantly. It never kind of feels like it's your fault though, it's just rather sluggish controls. It's like the game's almost working against you, and yeah, it's trying to be clever, but it just doesn't really work. It still looks good though and sounds good, it just doesn't play so good. Couple of interesting ones for you now. ROKI is first of all for sure not how you pronounce it, but a great game for those out there that enjoy the kind of point and click genre. Modernized though with its more kind of free movement, this is an adventure game to save your family basically from a mystical world. It's got this great art and sound design as well. It's also a huge 50% off, and it's definitely worth a look. Then Heaven's Fault, and I wanted to love this game, but the slow pace, it was honestly just too much for me. A lot of people love it though, and I think I maybe just need to sit down and kind of invest a few hours into it. It's a very long adventure, but the idea with this one is it's an archaeological sci-fi adventure where you basically decipher lost languages. It also won a ton of awards. It is super unique from its gameplay to its visual style, and yeah, maybe watch a review on this one, as I'm honestly yet to beat it myself, but it may be for you, and it's got this real nice 40% off right now. Matching its all-time low price then, NEXOMON Extinction. I love this game. It's basically Pokemon for those of us who just want old school style Pokemon. The designs at times, they can be a little bit too copycat honestly, but it still gets a whole lot right, especially in the mechanics to the taking this huge adventure across, a relatively huge landscape. It had some balancing issues at launch, but they did fix it up with a patch, and this is well worth a look with 25% off. Do not let the mobile phone history of this series put you off either. It absolutely deserves to be on the Switch. Alright, so this is probably going to be a controversial pick, but ZOIDS Wild Beast Unleashed, a lot better than I expected, honestly. And I think if you've got some younger kids in your household, or you're just younger at heart, honestly, it's a decent little simplistic 3D brawler with a decent story mode as well. The arenas can be a little repetitive, but honestly, like, if you watch my review, you'll see how surprised I was with this one. This 50% off as well, I do think it gets it to a much kind of fairer price point as well. Now, if you want a deeper fighter with a ridiculous name, the game for you is going to be Under Night In Birth, EXE Late Clear, and yes, crap name, incredible game. My second favourite fighter on the Switch. BlazBlue takes the crown for that one, but this still has it all. A deep story mode that's basically a visual novel experience, online fights, local play, arcade mode, great pixel work, a ton of characters, stages. You can just spend hours with this one simply in just training mode, trying to work out the game's incredibly deep mechanics, and the soundtrack like just kicks ass as well. I have a seriously in-depth review on this one on the channel that you should definitely check out if you are considering it, but it is an absolute steal at 50% off, and every fight fan should own it. Matching its all-time low then, PHEONOTOPIA Awakening with 25% off, taking influence from Zelda 2. It basically combines an overworld map with like 2D action RPG platforming. They've done some balancing since launch because it was hard as hell. It's still a very difficult game, but it's definitely a lot more fair now. But the love that went into this one is incredible, and it's also very clear. It started life as a Flash game, and they basically came back for this run as well. It's another one I'm hoping we see a physical release of in the future, and I really hope they find success because I want to see a lot more of this kind of world in the future on the Nintendo Switch. Gods Will Fall, a Valiant edition then, and I wanted to give this one a quick mention as it's kind of an unusual one. This is actually the deluxe edition of the game. The base game is not on sale, but if you know you're really going to kind of be into this one, buy this version right now as it's actually cheaper than the base game, and it's throwing in the DLC which adds 3 new gods, new weapons, items, skills, extras, just all sorts of goodies. The gameplay, it's a great roguelike where you basically command a group of warriors and you need to now work your way through dungeons, keeping as many alive as possible. The gods here, the boss moments of course are difficult, but that just kind of comes with the roguelike tag, and yeah, this 25% off, it puts it to a real nice price point. Before our final 3 games of the week then, our second winner, it's going to Stealth Dog who grabbed Children of Morta. Great game, and the new DLC as well is also great fun. It's free as well, which is never a bad thing. Basically turns the thing into almost Hades. Congrats to Stealth Dog, drop me an email, and everyone else remember to drop a comment down below for your chance to win in next week's video. So our final 3 games of the week then, we're going to be kicking things off with Forager. Forager is a small piece of genius that deserves just all the love it gets. It combines exploration, farming, crafting and dungeons into this real unique little gem, and kind of as the world expands around you, it just becomes absolutely addictive. It's for those of us out there that like to, you know, grind, though, like to build and like to solve almost puzzles. It can basically be as slow or as fast paced and action packed as you want it to be, and it's currently 25% off. Our penultimate game then of the week, Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition, makes its way to the sales with 35% off, and this is just my childhood right here. They also have Jurassic World on sale, which we'll talk about next week, but yeah, this is a classic. It's a great port, and basically the idea is simple. Build and manage a theme park, and honestly, you can sink hundreds of hours into this one, whether it's going to be working through the main campaigns that includes all expansions, or simply going into sandbox mode and kind of going crazy building the park of your dreams. About 100 times better as well than the Atari Rollercoaster Tycoon that's also available on the Switch. Do not buy that one, definitely buy this one. Final game of the week then, this is actually matching its all-time low, but it had to be mentioned and it had to be top of the list. That is Grindstone, one of my favourite puzzle games on the Switch. It started life on Apple Arcade, absolutely deserves its spot on the eShop. Puzzle fans as well, it's a must buy, and it's another one I've actually ordered the physical of myself. 200 plus levels though, daily challenges, leaderboards, it just has everything you could want, and the system is seriously unique as you basically smash enemies and try to build up these chain like combos. You want to hit this target number that's in the lower corner of the screen, and that will unlock the kind of big door ahead of you and that next step in progression. It even has upgrades, weapons and gear, and then the music and the visuals absolutely incredible. I like the music so much, in fact I ordered the final soundtrack. It's a must buy for me with 25% off, and I can happily recommend this one full price as well. did you pick up? A whole lot of good choices right now, and yeah, a whole lot of ways to hurt the bank account. It's just a monster sale. With that though, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.